fighting and winning our nation's wars. Leaders, we are living in dynamic and potentially dangerous times. Global risk is on the rise. Our adversaries are no longer aligning, they are aligned. And we must align with equal resolve and unity. Even as we strive for and seek peace, we must be prepared for war. Now, more than ever, it is vital that we hear from our civilian leaders, understand where they're taking the department and the joint force. And today we have the unprecedented opportunity and honor to hear directly from the Secretary of War and our Commander-in-Chief. Together, you and I and our civilian leaders have the honor of leading the finest military in the world. And we must seize every opportunity every day to prepare our joint force for the future. I am deeply humbled to serve with each and every one of you. And now it is my distinct honor to introduce our nation's Secretary of War, the Honorable Pete Hegseth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sure. Thank you. Please take your seats. Well, Mr. Chairman, the Joint Chiefs, Generals, Admirals, Commanders, Officers, Senior Enlisted, NCOs, Enlisted, and every member of our American military, good morning. Good morning and welcome to the War Department, because the era of the Department of Defense is over. You see, the motto of my first platoon was those who long for peace must prepare for war. This is, of course, not a new idea. This crowd knows that. The origin dates to the 4th century Rome and has been repeated ever since, including by our first Commander-in-Chief, George Washington, the first leader of the War Department. It captures a simple yet profound truth. To ensure peace, we must prepare for war. From this moment forward, the only mission of the newly restored Department of War is this: warfighting, preparing for war and preparing to win, unrelenting and uncompromising in that pursuit. Not because we want war, no one here wants war, but it's because we love peace. We love peace for our fellow citizens. They deserve peace, and they rightfully expect us to deliver it. Our number one job, of course, is to be strong so that we can prevent war in the first place. The president talks about it all the time. It's called peace through strength. And as history teaches us, the only people who actually deserve peace are those who are willing to wage war to defend it. That's why pacifism is so naive and dangerous. It ignores human nature and it ignores human history. Either you protect your people and your sovereignty, or you will be subservient to something or someone. It's a truth as old as time. And since waging war is so costly in blood and treasure, we owe our republic a military that will win any war we choose, or any war that is thrust upon us. Should our enemies choose foolishly to challenge us, they will be crushed by the violence, precision, and ferocity of the War Department. In other words, to our enemies, F-A-F-O. If necessary, our troops can translate that for you. Another way to put it is peace through strength, brought to you by the warrior ethos. And we are restoring both. As President Trump has said, and he's right, we have the strongest, most powerful, most lethal, and most prepared military on the planet. That is true, full stop. Nobody can touch us. It's not even close.
Good afternoon. This is Afternoon Sky. I'm your host, Sky. I'm talking about what I know about. This is the military. I'm a military man, served for a little over a year and a half. Honorable discharge, the beautiful United States Marine Corps. I was just having a conversation how I get benefits, go to the local deli, get a military discount. It's cool. It's great, but well, it's part of the reason why I joined the Marine Corps for money and benefits. Let's keep it real. A lot of people want to say, oh, for country and Corps and everything. That's cool, but I joined up because I wanted to get the money and the benefits. That's what I wanted. Now, in between all that, you have to be real. You have to be true. That's why I have an honorable discharge. I salute to you, King Hazy. Salute to you, sir. Peace up. Peace, peace, peace. So this is a weird situation we have here because the Secretary of War, I think they're officially calling it that now. They're starting to change everything. Everything's going to be from DOD to SOW. I don't know. It's going to be SOW, Secretary of War, or Department of War. It's going to be DOW or DOE, Department of War, Department of it's going to be DOW. So we have to, really look into this because this is where we're headed. I mean, I want the military to be as strong as ever. I want it to be even more so. And I'm probably just going to do Hegseth. I know President Trump spoke. I might not get to him because he just babbles. He just rambles on and on. He makes little jokes and stuff like that. It's really endearing in a way. It's kind of like, watching your grandfather saying a lot of things like, oh yeah. You guys, I see you in your uniforms, and it's just I can't do a good Trump impression, but you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. So I'm gonna just chop up each section of this video. It's almost 50 minutes long, but I'm gonna try to just chop it up in little chunks and give my commentary on each part. Other half of the video is going to be all about SPIC Heritage Month. Yes, the SPICs deserve their month too. SPICs definitely need a Heritage Month. I'm focusing mainly on the drug dealers, the cartels, and everybody within that Hispanic SPIC nation. That whole diaspora of people. I'm not talking about their culture and foods and different dress and customs and rituals. I'm talking about straight up selling cocaine, selling methamphetamine, heroin, all that. So bear with me. Here we go.
This is true largely because of the historic investments that he made in his first term, and we will continue in this term. But it's also true because of the leaders in this room and the incredible troops that you all lead. But the world, and as the chairman mentioned, our enemies get a vote. You feel it, I feel it. This is a moment of urgency, mounting urgency. Enemies gather, threats grow. There is no time for games. We must be prepared. If we're going to prevent and avoid war, we must prepare now. We are the strength part of peace through strength. And either we're ready to win or we are not. You see, this urgent moment, of course, requires more troops, more munitions, more drones, more Patriots, more submarines, more B-21 bombers. It requires more innovation, more AI in everything and ahead of the curve. More cyber effects, more counter UAS, more space, more speed. America is the strongest, but we need to get stronger and quickly. The time is now, and the cause is urgent. The moment requires restoring and refocusing our defense industrial base, our shipbuilding industry, and onshoring all critical components. It requires, as President Trump has done, getting our allies and partners to step up and share the burden. America cannot do everything. The free world requires allies with real hard power, real military leadership, and real military capabilities. The War Department is tackling and prioritizing all of these things. And I'll be giving a speech next month that'll showcase the speed, innovation, and generational acquisition reforms we are undertaking urgently. Likewise, the nature of the threats we face in our hemisphere and in deterring China is another speech for another day, coming soon. This speech today, as I drink my coffee, this speech today is about people, and it's about culture. The topic today is about the nature of ourselves. Because no plan, no program, no reform, no formation will ultimately succeed unless we have the right people and the right culture at the War Department.
That's it. The War Department. I mean, is it just what Shakespeare said that? What's in a name? What's in a name? I mean, it's a connotation, and Trump later on in the day, after the speech, talked about how, well, we won every war before where George Washington first established the Department of War. And we won World War I and World War II, and then we changed it in the 50s. I don't even know if it was before Korea or after Korea. I think it was right before Korea, around the same time the Air Force was founded. 1947, I think it was, or 1948. This whole idea that the Department of Defense versus the War Department, I am stepping out on my own mind. People may disagree with me, but I'm saying a rose is still a rose. You call something by its name. I mean, some things, depending on whatever it is, it can be only be called by its name. Well, I gotta be ignorant because so I'm talking to son 90 now. Hold on, let me break for a second. He said, "Why I gotta be ignorant?" Because you're not attuned to actual news. You want to talk about that's dumb-ish. I'm all about the dumb-ish, but you have to send me clips. Send me clips from news sources like the New York Times or the Post or the Wall Street Journal or Washington Post or the LA Times or the Chicago Tribune or the Philadelphia Inquirer or the Times Picayune, for God's sake. Tell me all that. A mouth is still a mouth as well. That's a good one, son 90. That was good. That was good memory. It just hurts my mind. I want to say it hurts my heart because that's like what everybody says, but it's really your mind. It's not really your heart. It hurts my mind when I think about the idea of, the strongest, most powerful military on the face of the planet in history and all of that. And we lose wars. We lose wars. Is it because of the name? Let's see what happens. We change the name and we get into a war. Are we going to win? Oh, we won because it was changed to the War Department. That's the reason why we won. We didn't win because of all this stuff. I've always been on real news, and when it came to celebrity news, you can go through all my videos. It was always about business. It was always about money, or their art. It was either about money or art. Why do we lose? We lose because there are stupid rules of engagement that tie the hands behind the backs of our military men and women who have to say, "Oh no, we can't hit that because it's a school. We can't drop a bomb there because that's a residential area. We can't do that." That's the reason why we're losing. They say China military is more advanced. In some ways, it is more advanced, and that's the reason why I think Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, is addressing these top military personnel. He's trying to let them know that we need to have not just very good capabilities, but excellent and superior capabilities to match us. But no one's really messing with us. Especially not the Navy. Not the Navy. The naval power is all through the world. The United States Navy, the sea power is overwhelming. What comes close is China, maybe Russia, maybe North Korea, maybe Japan, kind of, not so much really. But the United States Navy is the strongest branch of the entire military output. Okay, so we should be sending robots to war by now. Yes, that's true. I'm all for sending robots to war. A lot of people want to be like General George S. Patton and say, there's no blood and guts in it. There's no glory. There's no, he wants that whole, soul of battle kind of thing going on. He wanted that, whole idea of, men getting in the dirt and the mud and, shooting and killing and, throwing grenades and seeing your best friend's face turn to goo and you still being put together. It's wild. It's wild. So you would have blew that car up if you was in Tony Montana position, of course. But I wouldn't have been Tony Montana. I would have been Sosa. Sosa had the girls. He had the money. He had the position. He was the one that put the hit out. Hopefully I'm not spoiling the movie for anybody, but he put the hit out for Tony. Sosa was that guy. From the clips, Malice, he said, "Be Sosa, not Tony." That's my thing. Be Sosa, not Tony. Tony was the wrong guy. He's the main draw. He's the people put tattoos of Tony Montana on their back and stuff like that, and fine. But Sosa was that real nigga. Sosa was the truth. Niggas should be out on the front line with Iron Man suits. Yeah. If we must, I still say robots. We should have AI. AI, if we can do silly, stuff on the internet with AI and play with people's speeches and images and stuff like that, we should definitely be equipped with, all kinds of AI positioning systems and different artillery and battery positioning. I mean, if we must have Iron Man suits, that's cool. But as long as there's little casualties on our side, I have no problem with it. And if you can win the war without, many casualties on their side, on civilian and combatant, that would be a plus too. I wouldn't mind that. Chichi, get the yayo. Bumba, salute. Salute to Bumba. Chichi, get the yayo. Yeah, I'm telling you, Sosa was that guy. Look up anything you say on Sosa, you're like, damn, that's true. Damn. Tony was messed up. He was a super cokehead. Everybody saw it at the end. He put his face down. And he got all the white underneath his nose. He turned into a cokehead. He got high on his own supply. Thought he could take on a whole, gang of people running up in his crib. They thought this spick thought he could do it. In reality, it's an Italian, Pacino, but in the film, it's a Cuban. He played a Cuban part. Yeah, that is funny though. That's funny. But this, I'm stepping out on go with it now. I'm going with it now. I'm going with the Secretary of War. I'm going with the War Department. I'm going for it because maybe there are parameters in the way you speak and way that the naming has to say. Like if you say you're Secretary of War, that implies that you can go on the offense. It's not the Department of Defense. We can go on offense. We can make this an offensive. So how's Trump doing this term in your opinion? Terribly. He's horrible. He's a terrible president. Just like Biden, just like Obama, just like Bush, just like Clinton. We've had a string of really horrible presidents. George H.W. Bush, Reagan, Carter, Ford, Nixon, LBJ, JFK. Who was it? I'm getting a little shady now. Truman or Eisenhower. I think it's Eisenhower, Truman. Then Roosevelt. Then who was it? Harding? I'm trying to go back. Did we ever have? Yes, we had an excellent president in our first president, George Washington. George Washington is probably our greatest president of all time. He's probably the GOAT. The first is the best, just like Delaware. Delaware is the first state and it's the best state. Nobody has claimed the best state. They say the best city is New York City. They say the finest city is San Diego. They don't say who the best state is. Well, the best state really is Delaware. Maybe the closest best state would probably be California. But anyway, I digress. All season inflation, a can of soda will be $5 in 2027. Maybe, but that's what I'm talking about. That's why you get the government the hell out of economics. Get them out of the realm of economics and education and ideas and science. Get them the hell out. There should be nothing to do. The president should have nothing to do with the economy whatsoever, nor should any other governmental entities. They should never have any touch on economic affairs. I think it's clear the wealthy families are the real masters. I don't know what you mean. I mean, is this 1873 or 1844? What are you talking about? The real masters. If we get them out, who will control it? There will be private enterprise, private institutions, private financiers. It's very simple. It's not that complicated. It's a very simple ideation. You get rid of them. You get rid of all the government heads that you get rid of. Definitely get rid of. Oh goddamn! I can't remember what it's called right now. You get rid of. It came out in 1913. God damn it! See, this is why I gotta stay on point. Y'all got me off kilter. I didn't prepare for this. What is it? What is it called? I don't even remember what it's called. The Federal Reserve. Goddamn. The goddamn Federal Reserve. That's what we have to get the hell out of here. That is a horrific, ugly, disgusting display of misunderstanding and a waste of brains, because they're like really, really smart people. They go to Yale and Harvard. They got like 6 degrees and all kinds of different accolades and everything like that attached to their names. But they don't really have anything. They have nothing to show. They can't. They say a lot of big words and esoteric language and arcane, and they sound very educated and everything. But they're not. I don't get anything from it. I have to get Dr. Jerome Brook to break it down. I have to get Troy Star Terrain to break it down for me because I don't understand. But let's go back to the video.
If I've learned one core lesson in my 8 months in this job, it's that personnel is policy. Personnel is policy. The best way to take care of troops is to give them good leaders committed to the warfighting.
Salute to Wizard. He says, yeah, the cost of living has become crazy. I seen a guy sell his house in Florida and move to Vietnam. God damn. Hope he's having a good time in Vietnam. Vietnam's a weird place. It's like China. It's like it's in the name that it's communist, but it's not really communist. If we were fully communist, there wouldn't be McDonald's in Vietnam. There wouldn't be hotel chains in Vietnam. That's wild. Wow. That is wild. Yeah, the price of living is going to go up most likely. Yeah, I can see that actually happening. But that's only because of government interference. Get the government the hell out of it, and we can have something to look back on, to understand, to really engage with the economy. I'm stupid. I don't understand why we aren't all on the barricades yelling, "Hey, get the hell out of IC!" You know what IC is? Ideas, science, economics, and education. If you get the government out of IC, this land would explode. It would explode in a sense, in a positive sense, of technology, information, wealth, growth, flourishing, thriving. Everything will go, skyrocket. It will go way, way, way up. Wizard says Vic Mensa said that the money that went to the National Guard should have went to schools, and I couldn't agree more. I totally disagree. Vic Mensa is not a very good example of somebody that's in a position to say that, I don't think. What schools where and how? Maybe private schools. I agree the money should go to private schools. Money shouldn't go to public schools. And they're not even public schools. They're government schools. That's the proper designation. They're government schools. They're by the city, state, and sometimes federal, and mostly federal, actually, governments. If you educate the youth, they won't commit crimes. So to some degree, that's true. There's a correlation, I think, out there that says that people that are in prison, they're not that bright, they're not that educated, they're not that smart. There's not a lot of doctors and master's degree holders in prison. There's very few. There's maybe like they like to call it white collar crime, but any collar crime is a crime. You know, you're still in the same place. You're in the same place. Doesn't matter if you have a white collar, a blue collar, a red collar, a brown collar. You're in GP. You're in general population. So it doesn't matter. So you're partially right, Wizard. That is true to an extent. There is a certain correlation. I remember when those niggers busted out of prison in New Orleans and they ran away like slaves running off a plantation. And I think they all got caught. I think they've all been apprehended and brought to justice again. They put too easy, and he wrote it TOEASY. At least he got the easy right, but it's TOOEASY. Too easy, space between the two and the easy. He just put TO. So that just shows their ignorance. It shows their not being able to understand proper grammar and spelling of the difference between the words to, TO, TWO, and TOO. It's very scary. It's sad, really. It's really sad. And Wizard, you couldn't be more right. That is the truth. Yeah, it starts at home. That's a fact, sir. That is a fact. That's a whole fact. It starts at home. If you can homeschool your children, that's cute. You know, they have different activities with other kids and stuff like that. You go to school and you have different holidays you celebrate and stuff like that. That's another thing too. They have to call it winter break. They can't call it Christmas break. They have to call it, by a certain name. I mean, it's just goofy stuff like that. Most of the people do, even if you're Jewish, you can celebrate Christmas. Just not even like the faith-based idea of Christmas, just the commercial aspects, the winking lights, the goodwill towards men. You say Merry Christmas, say, slow down and repent. That's not what Christmas is about. Christmas is about joy. It's about happiness. It's about finding, some sense of what Aristotle called eudaimonia, a sense of happiness, a spirit of happiness. During the dark months, it gets really dark and cold in most parts of the world around Christmas time. And so, the German, how am I talking about Christmas? God damn. But anyway, I'll just explain this real quick. The Germans were the first ones to institute the idea of putting a tree, an evergreen tree in the house, because evergreen, it represented all year round. It represented the whole year, no matter what. The leaves didn't fall off this tree. It wasn't barren or bare. I shouldn't say barren. It wasn't bare. It kept its foliage, and just like that. What is it? What is that? It's like the Wizard of Oz. I'll talk about that later. Let's get back to the video. Yeah, we'll talk about that around Christmas time. I just had to say that.
Culture of the department. Not perfect leaders, good leaders. Competent, qualified, professional, agile, aggressive, innovative, risk-taking, apolitical, faithful to their oath and to the Constitution. Eugene Sledge, in his World War II memoir, wrote, quote, "War is brutish, inglorious, and a terrible waste. Combat leaves an indelible mark on those who are forced to endure it. The only redeeming factors are my comrades' incredible bravery and their devotion to each other. In combat, there are thousands of variables, as I learned in Iraq and Afghanistan, and as so many of you did in so many more places. Leaders can only control about 3 of them. You control how well you're trained, mostly how well you're equipped, and the last variable is how well you lead. After that, you're on your own. Our warfighters are entitled to be led by the best and most capable leaders. That is who we need you all to be. Even then, in combat, even if you do everything right, you may still lose people because the enemy always gets a vote. We have a sacred duty to ensure that our warriors are led by the most capable and qualified combat leaders. This is one thing you and I can control, and we owe it to the force to deliver it. For too long, we have simply not done that. The military has been forced by foolish and reckless politicians to focus on the wrong things. In many ways, this speech is about fixing decades of decay. Some of it obvious, some of it hidden. Or as the chairman has put it, we are clearing out the debris, removing the distractions, clearing the way for leaders to be leaders. You might say we're ending the war on warriors. I heard someone wrote a book about that. For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons, based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts. We've pretended that combat arms and non-combat arms are the same thing. We've weeded out so-called toxic leaders under the guise of double-blind psychology assessments, promoting risk-averse, go-along-to-get-along conformists instead. You name it, the department did it. Foolish and reckless political leaders set the wrong compass heading, and we lost our way. We became the woke department, but not anymore. Right now, I'm looking something most Americans will not, to serve something greater than yourself, to fight for God and country, for
now we're getting into trouble. We're getting into trouble. Something greater than yourself, God and country, BS, money and benefits. How about that? They don't say that when a recruiter comes by, he says, "Hey, you want to die? You want to die for your country? You want to sacrifice for your fellow man? You want to be a selfless, unselfish, sacrificial animal? Hey, come on, join. Yeah, that." It never, ever has that happened. I'm putting money on it. It's never happened. Not in truth. Maybe people will say, this is about sacrifices for, this is they may have done that. There may have been recruiters. Not my recruiter. He was all about, hey, what are you all about, man? What are you? They have training and how to deal with obviously the the high schoolers and people in that just about on the cusp of going into adulthood and or recently just been in adulthood, and they know how to do it. They find out what you want, what you like, what can we do for you, and see what you all about you. Then you get to boot camp and it's like, well, it's not all about you, it's all about the next man. And the weirdest thing is they never show you how to jump on a grenade. I didn't see it. It never happened when I was in the Marine Corps. Nobody said, hey, all right, we're going to do practice runs on how to jump on a grenade. That's the magical thinking that goes on in the Marine Corps and in the Army and other combatant, people that are experienced combat. They never say jump on the grenade. It never even comes up. It only comes up, when we're talking about the warriors that come from the past, and you have to find out on your own if you go on Wikipedia. Oh, well, he jumped on a grenade. Oh, he got a Medal of Honor. Oh, he jumped on a grenade. He got a Medal of Honor. Oh, he jumped on a grenade. It was a Medal of Honor. Like over and over. I mean, this goes back to from the probably the Revolutionary War. I'm sure the Civil War, the World Wars 1 and 2, Korea, Vietnam. There wasn't really a lot of combat action in the first Gulf War, but in Iraq and Afghanistan, You got Jason Dunham. Go to Wikipedia, look up Jason Dunham. See what his Kevlar or his helmet looked like when he jumped on a grenade. I did not cash in on a free house from the military. I don't know what you're talking about. There's a free house. I don't think there's a free house. You can get loans from what I understand, unless you have more information than I, Wizard. But yeah, jumping on a grenade. I mean, yeah, I would jump on a grenade, but that's because of me, because I care about my fellow Marines. The opposite is a sacrifice. If you were to take say you have an enemy combatant coming at you in your squad, and they throw a grenade, and you pick up the grenade and you throw it at your Marines, that's a sacrifice. And that's an ugly, disgusting, horrific sacrifice. That's a sacrifice. For you to smother the grenade and protect your fellow Marines, not a sacrifice. Act of selfishness. That's why we're so twisted. Our minds are so gazed to saying, oh, well, that was a sacrifice. That was so selfless. That was so unselfish of him to jump on the grenade. Oh, my God. How that just took in so much power. It must have came from God, of course. Wizard said, let some of them earn freedom back that they have to live in a different country that has a U.S. military base dependent on their case. I don't know what you have to clarify that, Wizard. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. But we're going into the second half of the show. Let me see if I can do flip here. I'm looking for it right now. Give me some time. I was saying people who are in jail for life should be deployed first. No, I don't agree with that. Nope. Because they can just commit more crimes once they're released. I mean, there's no telling what that could do. That would upend it. I know that's been the argument for a lot of people. It's like, well, release the jails and let them go into the military, and then they can fight their way and get their freedom. No, it doesn't work like that, and it shouldn't work like that. That's a deep chasm of immorality, in my estimation. But let me switch it up for a second. Hold on. Oh, this isn't fun. Oh, this isn't fun. I'm trying to find a freaking video on this spic. I'm not finding anything of worth. I can't find it. Damn. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Nothing is coming up. Nothing of worth is coming up. Nothing of that's in English. I might just do it, but I don't know I don't even know what is supposed to be private or fair use. Yeah, I'm doing the opposite. Oh, I didn't even mean to do that. Oh man, I'm doing the opposite. I know that Cardi has issues with Nicki, well, with Ice Spice and Lotto and Nicki Minaj. She had Nicki Minaj a long time ago, especially now Lotto and Ice Spice. They all had big butts. they all have big breasts. They're somewhat cute in the face. I think Ice Spice is the cutest in the face of all of them. Not her just because of her skin color, because of her facial features. I can't find anything. Damn it. I might just, just do it. I have to just find. Maybe I have to do Telemundo or something like that. Telemundo might do it. Telemundo. Okay, this is Noticias Telemundo. This is in Spanish, so bear with me.
Miguel Félix Gallardo, muchísimas gracias por aceptar esta entrevista. Es la primera vez que usted decide hablar frente a la televisión. ¿Por qué ahora?
Usted me está preguntando que por qué le concedo la entrevista.
I might have to take that back and agree with you. It's close, though. Lotto might be better than Ice Spice. She does have better feet. That is true. I was just thinking about Nicki and Cardi, but yeah, Lotto, she might have it on Ice Spice. But I'm doing the opposite of what Mr. Troy Star Terrain is doing. He does the dumbish because he knows he gets more money that way, he gets more views. But it's a lot going on behind the scenes that he knows how to pinpoint on different stories, and that's what makes him successful. I'm doing the opposite. I'm just growing. He's already established over 20 years in the game. I've been in the game, doing this just 2 years, just a little over 2 years. So, I'm just doing the opposite. Star been missing. Well, he's a little under the weather. That's all I can say. He's a little under the weather. I don't even feel about Bad Bunny. I have nothing to do with Bad Bunny. I don't even like. I think he's funny when he's on SNL. It's just that spit culture, though. They know what to do. They know when, like most other cultures, they know when to speak English, speak the English, and then when to spell, and they know how to spout their Spicanese. They know how to cover. So that's what I think about Bad Bunny. But I'm glad he's successful. I'm glad he's been able to tap into the Hispanic crowd as well as the broader pop crowd. He's broken all kinds of records. He's gonna be on the Super Bowl. So salute to him. I don't listen to his music. I don't get into it, but salute to him anyway. Let's play this though, because this is just
Por su lucha, por su afán de lucha.
Desde su captura en abril de 1989, ha pasado 32 años preso. ¿Cómo está su salud?
Mi salud
how's your health?
es pésima.
I don't know if
familia
that's what my family
Está
is
haciendo un hoyo para yo ser enterrado en un árbol. No tengo pronóstico de vida ninguno,
the prognosis.
puesto que perdí todo. Perdí la sensibilidad, los oídos, los ojos. Han pasado 32 años. Es una eternidad para un hombre que no cometió ningún delito.
¿Cómo ha sido su vida en la prisión?
A todos nos han tratado mal. O sea, no visitas, no locutorios, no abogados, No sé ni por qué estoy.
¿Cómo fue su captura en 1989?
Estaba yo en una casa de Cosmos en Guadalajara.
This, I have to remind you, is Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo. He was known as the boss of all of bosses and El Padrino, the Godfather. He's a Mexican convicted drug kingpin who was one of the founders of the Guadalajara cartel, which controlled much of the drug trafficking in Mexico and the corridors along the Mexico-United States borders in the 1980s. So for your uncles and aunties that was sniffing that good stuff, you gotta thank him for it. I mean, this guy. There are how many groves or how many orchards of coca plants are there in the United States? You just tell me how many are really grown. They had to get shipped here. And how did they get shipped here? Because the FBI knew what was going on. The CIA knew what was going on. They were trying to get black and brown people caught up. I'll continue.
Cuando tumbaron la puerta, sin ninguna orden de aprehensión, sin ninguna orden de presentación, con mi familia, estaba mi hija, mi hijo.
His daughter, his son.
Fui golpeado, sacado en menos de un minuto y quebrado 4 costillas. Pregunté el motivo y lo único que recibí fue más tortura. Recibí bolsa para sofocar, tehuacanes, golpes.
Salute to Sir Rick James. He says, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Skylar's Daughter Seas and the afternoon. Fact. He's talking cartel. He's talking kill owls. He's talking hippos. He's talking squirrels. All of this and more on the TV show Fact. He kind of looks like Scarface's friend in the movie Fact. Yeah, I can't remember. I used to know what it means. Hold on, I'm looking up. I used to know his name. He was on Breaking Bad too. Steve Bauer. I did talk about Pablo Escobar. I talked about his hippos. He has cocaine hippos in Colombia. He imported them, and this is the previous show. You can go back to my other shows. I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis. He imported them from, I understand it was United States, but there are reports that it was straight from Africa. So I'm not sure exactly what it was. But anyway, they're imported to Colombia, and after his demise, their population exploded because they started mating, and they've altered the water system because of their poop. And a lot of fish are dying, and they have no natural predators like lions or jaguars or tigers or anything like that. So maybe not jaguars. I can't remember if jaguars are in Africa. I don't think jaguars are in Africa. I know tigers and lions. Lions, of course, are in Africa. No, it's not the last day of their month. It's not. Last day of the month is 15th. It started on September 15th and lasts to October 15th. He says Steve Bowser, sir. No, Steve Bauer. Did the hippos get high off their own supply? I doubt it. They got high off of each other. You know, they were making a lot of babies. They're making a lot of baby hippos, and those baby hippos grew up. And they'll just be walking down the street, you know, like it's cool. Just see a hippo. It's wild. I'm going to just continue, though, because I think it's ironic.
Usted fue sentenciado a casi 40 años de cárcel por el asesinato del agente de la DEA, Enrique El Kiki Camarena. ¿Por qué se le relaciona con este homicidio?
Es un tema muy lamentable. Este señor Camarena, quienes hayan sido, hay autores materiales, intelectuales presos que han pagado su vida en la prisión y que les ha ido muy mal.
I'm not sure what you're saying, Wizard. When Rick says they should have donated the hippos to a zoo and made some money off of it, make it a tourist attraction. Say, come meet the Pablo Escobar's hippos fact. Wizard says, this is verbatim what Wizard wrote. Oh, you scared to Escobar? He was really blowing up airplanes and terrorizing in Colombia. I said, I already covered his hippos. That's all that has to be covered. Nobody talks about his hippos until Vice got a hold of it. Different news outlets. No, very few people know about the hippos, so I thought that I would introduce him to my audience. I can talk about him all day. I've been talking about these spics for the half of a month. I'm not scared of. Ain't nobody scaring me. I ain't never scared. F them hippos. That man almost became president. Well, he didn't become president. That's the point. Like, there's no point in going after. Everybody talks about. I'm gonna talk about El Chapo's later, but everybody talks about Escobar. Oh, Escobar. He's a hero. He's a man of the people. He was giving out free turkeys. He was like the Nino Brown. He was like a real life Nino Brown. Like, no, who gives it? Sugar honey iced tea. I'm talking about his hippos. They don't get enough attention. They just started getting attention in the last few years. El Chapo wasn't doing it like Pablo. I think that's correct. I think that's a true statement. El Chapo, he didn't have as much money as Pablo. Pablo had like $100 billion. Seriously, he was cracking like $50 to $100 billion, something like that. El Chapo made like 20, maybe $30 billion. It's good, but not good. But you know what I'm saying in comparison. Escobar was a real life Pied Piper. I don't think El Chapo was buying anything. I don't know. If he was wise, he would have laid low. But he was. I'm gonna get to El Chapo later. Let me talk about this first. Let me talk about this guy. Matter of fact, let me see. And he's still alive. Born in 1946. He looks like death, though. This guy looks like life beat him the hell up. He's 79 years old. I'm going to continue. Wait a minute. Powell had so much money, he built his own prison, and he once used stacks of $100 bills to start a fire. I can believe that. I don't know where your sources are, but I'm just saying, I trust you, Wizard.
Ignoro el por qué se me relaciona, porque ese señor no lo conocí. Le vuelvo a repetir, yo no soy una persona de armas. Lamento mucho, porque sé que era un buen hombre.
¿Usted le diría algo a la viuda del agente Camarena?
Que le deseo la resignación y que tenga la satisfacción que los culpables de eso están pagando sus culpas.
Rafael Caro Quintero y Ernesto Fonseca Carrillo también fueron señalados como parte del asesinato del agente Camarena. ¿Qué relación tuvo usted con Caro Quintero y con Fonseca Carrillo?
No los conozco. En la calle no nos conocimos. Estas personas, yo nunca hemos platicado al respecto. Mi abogado Martínez Inglán me dijo, no estás involucrado, nunca platiques.
Recientemente una serie de televisión habló sobre su vida y lo retrató como un narcotraficante, como el zar de la cocaína, por haber abierto las rutas de coca entre Sudamérica hacia Estados Unidos y tener tratos con Pablo Escobar.
A esa persona ni lo conocí. Él, esa persona que me está mencionando, jamás estuve en Medellín o en Cali, como la serie esa que se dice.
All right, I'm gonna try to look for a video that could be in English. Let's see. Let's see if we can find one that's in English. Okay, this looks like it could be promising. This isn't the right guy now. Hold on. I think I have to go to Udemy. I'll go to these tomorrow and Thursday. Yeah, these spics be putting in the work though. You putting in the work. You gotta respect it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to love it, but you gotta respect it. You gotta respect it. Hey, let me do my banners. Hold on. If you want to do Zumba, go to Z Therapy on YouTube for all your Zumba needs. Subscribe to Holly Correnti. She's bubbly. She's intelligent. She's very great on her feet. Yes, Star got the flu. Yes. She knows what she's doing with the music, and if you enjoy doing the Zumba classes, definitely check out her YouTube page and subscribe. Also, Dot Focus, visit his YouTube channel, subscribe, like and comment. If you enjoy Call of Duty and other first-person shooters, you will not be disappointed. Tell him that Silly Sky sent you. That's me. And he's always looking for the pink mist, so definitely check him out. And you can visit lifestrongapparel.com for your raw CMOS needs. Also, after making your selections, type in SKYLER20 as a promo to receive 20% off your purchases. Tell Mr. Pang the Silly Sky sent you. Great things. He's got CMOS gel. He's got snapbacks. He's got treats for doggies. So definitely patronize his website. In addition, visit Bayha Jackson's YouTube page and subscribe to learn more about sardines on the grill, fried chicken, near beer, and female strippers of age, of course. Tell him Silly Sky sent you in the comments. He is a former child actor. He was in the monumental film Boys in the Hood. He was the child version of Doughboy, Ice Cube's character, at the beginning of the scene of the movie, and you can see him go on. And I have to promote myself. Allow you to introduce myself to myself. Go to Venmo at SKYLERIZED. I don't know if you have to have it capitalized. I just have it capitalized. And also, you guys are subscribed. I would imagine you wouldn't be on here if you weren't. But make sure you tell somebody. Just tell 2-3 people, and they can tell 2-3 people, and let it spread like a virus. That's how things. That's why it's called viral. Go to youtube.com/@SkySaunders SKYSAUNDERS. All right, I'd like to thank everybody that came through today. What we had: Son the Sun 90, Wizard, Bumba, Rick James, everybody with a wrench, pretty much. I'm trying to get people without wrenches. Yeah, I like her too. She's a great friend. She's a good friend. I think you're talking about Holly Correnti. Yeah, she's good people. Really good people. I'll get you to 1,000. I appreciate that, Wizard. If you, a lot of people just say stuff. They say it, but I like to just see. I just like to just see the results. I just like to see results. I don't know. I say thank you, Wizard, but you say it, but it's like, when? Is there a date? Will you saying and a certain time or a certain, will you give me the exact names of the people that you are trying to get to 1,000? I have 993 people, subscribers under me on YouTube. So all I need is 7 more, and I have 1,000. I still have to get to 4,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 hours watched. And I mean, in total, I have over 5,000, but currently, they go by what you have currently. I have currently 1,886 hours watched. So I got a little ways to go on there. So it's on 2 fronts. It's all YouTube. It's respect the shoot. Respect what you don't like. I don't like that, but I respect it because it's their policy. But I go on vocal.media. I haven't had to get more than 200 people, and I've made over $2,000 since 2017. Now, that may not seem like anything, but in the grand scheme of things, I made what is that? That's like a $1,500 profit because I have to pay $100 every month. So it's like, 20, what's that? 20, it's like $2,200, $700. Yeah, $1,500. I'll get you to 1,000. We need a show when you hit 1,000. But yeah, I probably will do a show when I hit 1,000. I wouldn't mind that. So tell people that I'm doing all kinds of wacky, crazy stuff. No. I want, I'm trying to wrap it up, but pause. But it's just a weird space to be in because I got to so many people. Yeah, I know. So it got to so many people that I just have a feeling for it. So that's just my little spiel. I hope you all have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Take care.